Hi guys, welcome to my Python tutorials. In these tutorials, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about Python variables. Open your PyDroid, then on this file icon, click on the file icon, open a new file, then save as. In, Save it inside the folder you created, my own folder. I created a folder for this tutorial, PyCode, then select folder. Name your, let me name it variable because we are going to talk about variables. My variable dot py. Always remember to save your file with .py extension. We will discuss what variable is all about in this tutorial. What is variable? In Python or programming generally, a variable, it's a memory space for storing data, or a kind of container where data are stored. That's what we call variable in programming. Python do not need any special character or particular type to declare a variable. Once a variable is created and is assigned values to, that variable is automatically defined and declared. Let's see what variable is. Variable can be anything. You can call variable anything. You can name your variable anything at all. Let me name my own variable, my var. You can name it anything. A variable can be named anything. Let's say my var equal to 9. Then I now use the print keyword. Like I said in the previous tutorial, the print keyword is used to access values at the output. I have created my variable by naming it my var. Now I'm going to assign a value to it, which is 9. Automatically, my variable is created and declared once I assign a value to it. We use this place to run the program. So after writing it, you save, enter the file, just click save. It will save, then run your program. Unexpected indent, there's an error. Unexpected indent. Okay, just take your code back. And so I run it. You see 9 here. What happened here? 9 is stored inside my var. That is why when we print my var, we get 9, not my var. But if you want to print my var, you put it inside quote. Any word or any statement you put inside quote, that's what the compiler will recognize. You see what is happening? My var is what we see here because that is what is inside quote. So to access the value inside my var, don't put my var inside quote. Then run your program. You see 9 here. Let's create another variable. You can name your variable anything. Let's create another variable, string equal to hi there. Then come down, print string, then run your program. You see hi there. Let's move on. How do you name variable in Python? There are rules for naming variables. Look at rules for naming variables. These are the rules for naming variables in Python. Number 1, a variable name cannot start with a number, e.g. 3 my var or 2 value. A variable name cannot start with a number. Let's go back to our program here. Let's say 3 my var, print 3 my var. You see syntax error. Look at the program here. Syntax error. The compiler does not recognize any variable that is being created starting with a number. And so the rule for creating variable in Python, any variable name must not start with a numeral. That's the first rule for creating variable. Let's remove it. Go back to that place. The second rule for creating variable, a variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. Like, let's go back to our code, our program. Like in this case, our variable name starts with letter. You can start it with underscore. The compiler will recognize it. It will not return error because that is the rule. You see? So it's printing, there's no error. Let's go back there. Number 3, look at the examples. rules for naming. You can write this down. Everything we are doing, you can write them down and have a note for yourself. That's the best way of learning. Number three, rules for creating variables. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric character and underscore. A variable name, take note of this, can only contain alphanumeric character and underscore, nothing less than that. You cannot put dot inside when you are creating your variable. You say my var dot anything or my var comma. The only character that a variable name can accept or can contain the underscore character. Then number four, rules for creating variable is, it said variable names are case sensitive. Age equal to, let's say my age is 20, then print capital letter A, then the rest should be in small letter, print. You see, name, age is not what declared. So when you are naming a variable, Python is case sensitive, very important. Let's change this to the first letter A there to match with what we have inside the print function. You see, there's no error. It has returned our what we have, the value we have inside our variable name. And so it's also different from when all of them is capital. So if you are using any, use all to the end. Let's say age, then you print this one, it will return error because name age is not what defined. But when you change it, change everything to capital or uppercase, it will return what your value. It will not return error anymore. These are the rules for naming variables in Python and how to create variables. So now I believe you have known how to create variables and how to name your variables. In Python, there are cases. To name a variable, three cases are considered. Three consecutive cases are considered. Look at it here. Cases. How to use multiple names. You see, I'm using more than one word here. Mine is a single word and var is another word. So to use multiple words as the name of a variable, there are rules, there are conditions or cases that needs to be considered. How to use multiple words to name a variable. There are cases or methods for using multiple names for variables. Number one, snake case method. In this case, each word is separated by an underscore character. E.g., look at the example, my variable equal to Bob. That's the snake case method. Every word is separated with an underscore character. Then the second method is the camel case. In this case, each word except the first word starts with a capital letter. That's the one I was using initially. Look at in my var, the variable, this variable, my var, the except the first word, any other word that comes start with an uppercase or capital letter. The third case is the Pascal case. In this case, the first letter of every word must be an uppercase. E.g., my variable equal to Bob. Look at the program here. The first letter of every word must be an uppercase or capital letter. Look at, then you now print my var. So these are the cases, the three cases considered while naming variables. In Python, we can use just one line of code to assign values to multiple variables. Say x, comma, y, comma, z. Then we assign variables to them. 3, let's say 5 and 8. Then print x, print y, and print z. Print z. You see now, the data stored inside each of those variables are now printed out here. So you can use just one line of code to create a variable and assign values to them on just one line. But you must know that the variable names, the x, y, and z, can be anything, but you separate them by comma character. Then you also ensure that the number of values matches the number of variables. Now, these are my values which I assign to my variables here. We can also assign one value to multiple variables. Let's define multiple variables. Let's say x equals y equals z. Then let's assign values to these three variables. Let's say we assign the value green. You can assign anything. Then come down, print x, print y, and print z. Print z. Let's see what happened. Green, green, green. You see now? You can assign one value to multiple variables. Just follow me up as we proceed. Let's talk about Python variable scopes. When a variable is created, the variable can only be available and accessed within the region where it is being created. This is called scope. That's what we call scope. In Python, we have two main types of variable scopes. We'll discuss just the two types of variable scopes in Python. We have the local variables and the global variables. Let me use an illustration. Let's say def. I'm going to define the def is a keyword used to define function, but don't mind if you don't understand this. When you get to function, you will understand better. Let's say def function. This function can be anything. It can be any name. You can name it anything. Def function. Let's create a variable inside this function. I have defined a function here. Let's create a variable inside the function. Like I said, don't mind about this particular section. Just understand what I mean. I want to describe the scope of variables to you. We have the local scope and the global scopes of variable. These are the two scope of variable we have basically in Python, the local variable and the global variables. The local variable is a variable within a function. It's a variable created within a function. Let's say x equal to bob. Say x equal to bob. Then print x. Let's call a function. Let's call a function here. After creating a function, you need to call it so that it can work. You see, but that's what we call local variable. Why is it called local variable? It is created within this space. The space of this function is created within the space of this function. Outside this function, this variable cannot be accessed. Let's say we go out of the function, outside the function. Remember that this function is only active within this domain. This variable is only active within this domain. After calling the function, after this line, after this function, this variable cannot be accessed again. Let's say print. Okay, let's remove this. Let's remove it here and go outside and print it. Let's say we'll go outside the function and print x. Let's say print x. You see now, it's a name x is not what defined because this is a local variable. You understand what local variable is now? This is a local variable. So, okay, let's create another variable. That's what we call local variable. A local variable is a variable that can only be accessed within a function where it is being defined. Okay, let's create another variable called y. Let's say y equal to handsome. Y equal to handsome. This variable y is created outside this function. Outside this function we have here. Let's see if it can be accessed inside the function. Print y. You see now, handsome. You get the gist now. That's how it works. That is what this is what called global variable. The other one was local variable. any variable created within a function is called local variable. The variable created outside a function is called global variable. So global variable can be accessed both outside and within a function. Let's go outside the function and also print y. Print y. You see now, handsome, because we printed it twice, inside the function and outside the function. So that is what we call global variable. This variable here is called global variable. Why this one is called local variable? This one is called global variable. Why this one is called local variable? Because it's created inside the function. But what if you create a local variable and you want to access it? You want that variable to be accessed outside a function. Let's say you created a variable inside a function. Automatically that variable is a local variable. It's a local variable which cannot be accessed outside that function. Create a variable x. Use the global keyword global x. Let's now go outside and print x and see what happened. Print x. Sorry. Print x. Okay. Global x. X to be assigned a value Bob. I say x is assigned Bob. You see now, Bob is printed. So you can use the global keyword. Let's remove this one first. You can use the global keyword to convert local variable into global variable. X equal Bob is a local variable because it's created within this function. It's created within this function. But we can access it outside the function because we have used the global keyword. So you can use the global keyword to convert a local variable to a global variable such that the variable can be accessed at any juncture in your code, at any point of your program. That's what we call variable scopes. So if you don't understand what a function is all about now, do not bother. In the process of this tutorial, we are going to discuss what function is all about. See you in the next class.